The door slammed shut behind me as I stumbled into the dimly lit apartment, my heart pounding like a war drum. Chavi, my straight-as-an-arrow best friend since high school, had just pulled me into a kiss that tasted like whiskey and regret, his hands gripping my shirt as if I were his lifeline. In that split second, everything we'd built over 10 years, late-night talks, road trips across the Midwest, shared secrets, shattered like glass underfoot, leaving me to wonder if this was the beginning of something real or the end of us both. I pulled back, my breath ragged, staring into his wide, panicked eyes. "What the hell, Chavi?" I whispered, my voice barely cutting through the silence of his Brooklyn studio. We'd been out celebrating his promotion at the ad agency, shots flowing freely at the corner bar. But this wasn't the Chavi I knew, the one who dated half the cheerleading squad back in Ohio, the guy who joked about setting me up with some cute dude, while never once hinting at his own curiosities. He stepped away, running a hand through his messy brown hair, his face flushing red under the glow of the single lamp. I don't know, man. It just happened. The booze, the night. Forget it, okay? Pretend it didn't. But his eyes betrayed him, darting everywhere but at me. I could see the storm brewing inside him, the same one I'd buried deep for years. I'd come out to him freshman year of college, and he'd been my rock, defending me against homophobic jabs from our old crowd, even punching a guy at a party who called me a slur. Now, this kiss hung between us like a grenade with the pin pulled. We'd met in geometry class back in Columbus, bonding over mutual hatred for proofs and a love for indie bands. Chavi was the golden boy, quarterback, from king, effortless charm that drew people in like moths to flame. I was the quiet artist, sketching in the margins of my notebooks, hiding my crushes on guys like him. Over time, our friendship deepened. Moving to New York together after graduation, chasing dreams in the city that never sleeps. He pursued marketing. I landed gigs as a graphic designer. We shared everything: bills, bad dates, family drama. But I'd always kept my feelings for him locked away, convinced they were one-sided and destructive. That night, as he paced the room, I sat on the edge of his bed, the weight of unspoken words crushing me. "Chavi, talk to me. Was that just a drunken mistake, or?" He stopped, his back to me, shoulders tense. "I love Sarah," he muttered, referring to his on-again, off-again girlfriend of 2 years. "We're talking about getting engaged. This can't be happening." Sarah was perfect on paper. A teacher from a conservative family, just like his own. They'd met at a church event his parents dragged him to during a visit home. The thought of her made my stomach twist. Not jealousy, but fear for what this could unravel. I stood up, trying to steady my voice. "Then why kiss me? Why now?" He turned, his eyes glistening. "Because, I don't know, Ethan. Lately, being around you feels different. Safer. Realer than with her. But this isn't me. My folks would disown me. The guys at work. Hell, the whole world would look at me differently." His words hit like punches, echoing the fears I'd faced when I came out. My own parents had taken it hard. Dad barely spoke to me for months. Mom cried about grandkids and what the neighbors would think. But I'd chosen authenticity over hiding. Now, Chavi was teetering on the edge, and I wasn't sure if I should pull him back or push him over. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the cracked blinds, mocking the tension in the air. Chavi avoided eye contact over coffee, mumbling about a meeting. "Last night was nothing," he said flatly. "We good." I nodded, but inside, doubts festered. As I left for my freelance job in Manhattan, my phone buzzed with a text from him. "Sorry, won't happen again." But deep down, I knew it was a lie. The kiss had ignited something, and ignoring it would only fan the flames. Days blurred into an uneasy routine. We still hung out. Pizza nights, gym sessions, but an invisible wall grew between us. I catch him staring, then looking away. One evening, after a brutal day dealing with a demanding client, I confronted him in our shared living room. We can't keep pretending, Chavi. That kiss meant something. He sighed, sinking into the couch. What do you want me to say? That I'm confused? That I've been thinking about you more than I should? His admission hung heavy, a confession wrapped in denial. Our conversations turned raw, peeling back layers of his upbringing. Raised in a strict evangelical household, Chavi had been taught that anything outside heteronormative lines was sin. Dad preaches about family values every Sunday, he said bitterly. If he knew. I shared my own scars, the isolation after coming out, the lost friends, the therapy sessions to rebuild self-worth. But for Chavi, the stakes felt higher. A promising career, a girlfriend expecting a ring, parents who saw him as their perfect son. Then came the first crack. Sarah noticed the distance. During a double date she'd insisted on, with her friend Mia for me, Chavi was distracted, barely touching his food. "What's wrong, babe?" she asked, her hand on his. He forced a smile. "Nothing, just work stress." But later, as we walked home, he confessed, "I can't keep lying to her, but telling the truth, it'd break her." I urged him to think carefully, knowing the pain of deception all too well. That night, he chose silence, but the guilt etched lines on his face. The tension escalated when his parents visited from Ohio. Over dinner at a cozy Italian spot in the village, his mom gushed about wedding plans for him and Sarah. "We can't wait for grandbabies," she beamed. Chavi nodded mechanically, while I sat there, the secret third wheel. Under the table, his foot brushed mine. Accidental? Intentional? The contact sent sparks, but also terror. What if they suspected? His dad, a burly contractor with strong opinions, launched into a rant about the liberal agenda ruining America. I bit my tongue, but Chavi defended me subtly. "Come on, Dad. Ethan's family." It was a small victory, but the evening left us both drained. Alone later, Chavi broke down. "I can't live like this, Ethan. Part of me wants to explore this, but the other part screams it's wrong." I held him as he cried, the first time I'd seen him so vulnerable. In that moment, our friendship shifted irrevocably towards something deeper, fraught with risks. The city lights twinkled outside, indifferent to our turmoil, as we navigated the minefield of unspoken desires and societal chains. The weeks following his parents' visit were a whirlwind of stolen glances and hushed conversations. Chavi started pulling away from Sarah, canceling dates with flimsy excuses. "I need space," he told her over the phone one night, his voice cracking. I overheard from the kitchen, my heart aching for all involved. When he hung up, he looked at me with desperation. Am I making a mistake? I didn't have answers. I was too entangled in my own hopes. We began testing boundaries in subtle ways. A movie night turned into him leaning against me, his head on my shoulder. No words, just the quiet admission of comfort. But guilt followed like a shadow. "This feels right, but it's not fair to her," he'd say afterward, retreating to his room. I respected his pace, but the push-pull wore on me. My friends noticed. My roommate from college, Jake, pulled me aside at a bar. "You're glowing, dude, but also like you're carrying the world." Spill. I confessed bits, swearing him to secrecy. "Be careful," he warned. "Straight guys experimenting? It rarely ends well." Chavi's internal war intensified. At work, he botched a big presentation, his mind elsewhere. His boss pulled him in for a talk. "Get your head in the game, or you're out." The pressure mounted, mirroring the societal vice grip. One evening, we walked through Central Park, the autumn leaves crunching underfoot. "What if I came out?" he mused. "Lost my job? My family?" I shared stories of others who'd navigated it. Some thrived, others struggled. But his fear was palpable, rooted in a lifetime of conditioning. Then the first betrayal hit. Sarah showed up unannounced, eyes red from crying. "Are you cheating?" she demanded in our living room. Chavi froze, glancing at me. "No, He lied, the word tasting like ash. She stormed out, slamming the door. That night, he confessed to me. I have to end it with her. But how? I advised honesty, but he chose a half-truth. I'm not ready for commitment. The breakup call was brutal. Her sobs echoed through the phone. Chavi hung up, collapsing into my arms. I hurt her because of this. Because of us. The us slipped out, electric and terrifying. With Sarah gone, our dynamic shifted. We shared more intimate moments. Cooking dinner together, his hand brushing mine. Late talks where he'd admit fantasies he'd suppressed. But doubt lingered. Is this just a phase? He'd ask. I reassured him, but inwardly I worried too. My own heart was on the line. Unrequited love had evolved into mutual exploration. But at what cost? Family pressure reared its head again. His sister, Emily, called from Ohio, sensing something off. Mom's worried. You're distant. Chavi brushed it off, but the call triggered a meltdown. They expect me to marry, have kids, continue the family line, he ranted. If they knew I'm questioning, it'd kill them. I suggested therapy. He agreed reluctantly, booking a session with a counselor specializing in LGBTQ+ issues. The first visit was eye-opening. She says it's okay to explore, he reported, a spark of hope in his eyes. But progress was slow, each step forward met with two back. Social circles complicated things. At a party thrown by mutual friends, whispers started. Chavi seems different, one guy commented. Chavi overheard, panicking. He overcompensated, flirting with a woman there, leaving me stung in the corner. Later, he apologized profusely. I freaked out. Don't want rumors. But the incident sowed seeds of distrust. Was he committed to this path or just dipping a toe? The turning point came during a weekend getaway to the Hamptons, borrowed from a colleague. Away from the city buzz, truth surfaced. Over beach walks, Chavi opened up about childhood crushes on boys he'd ignored. I pushed it down, focused on sports, girls. We shared our first intentional kiss under the stars, soft and tentative. No alcohol, no excuses. Felt like freedom, but dawn brought reality. What now? He asked. I proposed taking it slow, defining nothing yet. Back in New York, reality crashed in. His dad called unexpectedly. Coming to visit next month. Bring Sarah. Chavi blanched. We broke up, he admitted. The silence was deafening, followed by a lecture on settling down. Hanging up, Chavi turned to me. I can't hide forever. That night he made a decision. I'll tell them, but I need you there. Terror and pride swelled in me. This was progress, but the road ahead loomed treacherous. As the visit approached, tensions peaked. Chavi rehearsed speeches, pacing endlessly. I supported him, but my own anxieties surfaced. What if he backed out? What if blame fell on me? One argument erupted. You're pushing me, he accused. No, I'm here for you, I countered. We reconciled, but the fracture lingered. The night before his parents arrived, he held me close. No matter what, you're my anchor. Words that warmed, yet foreshadowed storms. His parents stepped off the train, hugs all around. Over lunch, small talk flowed, but Chavi was jittery. Finally, at dinner, he dropped the bomb. I'm exploring my sexuality. I think I might be gay. Or bi. His mom's fork clattered. His dad went stone-faced. What? Dad barked. This some New York phase? The argument exploded. Accusations of influence. Glaring at me. Bible quotes. Tears. Mom sobbed. We raised you better. They left early, cutting the visit short. Chavi was devastated, staring at his phone as calls went unanswered. In the aftermath, isolation set in. Friends divided. Some supportive, others distant. Work suffered. Chavi took a leave. Our bond strengthened amid the chaos, but the price was steep. Lost family ties, shattered illusions. Was it worth it? He whispered one night. I didn't know, but we pressed on, navigating the wreckage together. The fallout from Chavi's coming out rippled outward like a stone in a pond, disrupting every facet of his life. His parents' silence stretched into weeks, broken only by a terse email from his dad. "Praying for you to find your way back." Chavi read it aloud, voice trembling, then deleted it. "They think it's a choice," he said bitterly. I held him, reminding him of the courage it took, but inside, I questioned if I'd encouraged too much too soon. Work became a battleground. Rumors spread after a colleague overheard a phone call. His boss, a conservative type, started sidelining him on projects. "Focus on basics," he was told, demoted subtly. Chavi fought back, filing a complaint with HR, but the stress gnawed at him. Sleepless nights led to mistakes, culminating in losing a major client. "This is because of me," he lamented. I urged resilience. Prove them wrong. But the discrimination stung, a harsh reminder of societal biases. Our relationship evolved amid the turmoil. What started as friendship blossomed into tentative romance. Dates in hidden cafes, walks hand in hand in progressive neighborhoods. But caution ruled. Chavi feared public scrutiny. "Not ready for labels," he'd say. I understood, having walked that path, but patience wore thin. One night, after a romantic dinner, he pulled away when I suggested meeting my friends as a couple. Too soon. Hurt flared. "Are you ashamed?" He denied it, but the seed of doubt grew. Betrayal struck from an unexpected angle. Emily, his sister, reached out secretly. "Mom and Dad are heartbroken, but I support you." Relief washed over Chavi, but she added, "Just make sure it's real, not some rebound." Her words echoed his fears, amplifying internal conflict. Then, during a video call, she probed, "Is Ethan influencing you?" Chavi defended me, but later admitted, "Maybe she's right. What if this is confusion?" The question hung, eroding our foundation. Moral dilemmas piled on. Chavi volunteered at a youth center, mentoring teens. One kid, struggling with identity, confided in him. "How do I tell my parents?" the boy asked. Chavi shared his story, inspiring but haunting. "Am I a hypocrite? I waited so long." The role forced self-reflection, pushing him toward acceptance. But it also highlighted sacrifices. Lost mentorship opportunities from conservative donors who pulled funding upon hearing rumors. Social confrontations escalated. At a reunion with high school buddies in Columbus, slurs flew casually. Chavi called them out. "That's not cool." The group turned on him. "Since when are you so sensitive?" One friend, Mark, cornered him. "Heard you're switching teams. That true?" Chavi nodded defiantly. Mark's response, "Disgusting. Stay away from my kids." The rejection cut deep. Lifelong bonds severed in an instant. Back in New York, I faced my own trials. My parents, who'd accepted me years ago, worried. "He's fresh out. Could end badly." Their caution mirrored my fears. Work for me suffered too. Distraction led to missed deadlines. A client complained, threatening my freelance reputation. "Get it together," my boss emailed. The pressure cooker of supporting Chavi while managing my life threatened to explode. A major clash came during Pride Month. I wanted to attend the parade. Chavi hesitated. "Too exposed," we argued. "Hiding perpetuates shame," I shouted. He countered, "I'm not ready." The fight ended in tears, him storming out. Hours later, he returned, "You're right. Let's go." At the event, surrounded by celebration, he held my hand publicly for the first time. Joy surged, but a passerby's glare reminded us of lingering hate. Therapy became crucial. Chavi's sessions delved into trauma, repressed memories of bullying, religious guilt. "I'm unlearning a lifetime," he shared. Couples counseling followed, addressing our imbalances. "Ethan, you're his guide, but don't lose yourself," the therapist advised. It helped, fostering communication, but progress was nonlinear. Then, a devastating blow. Chavi's dad suffered a heart attack. Rushing to Ohio, Chavi faced family in crisis. At the hospital, his mom hugged him tightly. "We need you." But his dad, recovering, whispered, "Don't bring that lifestyle here." The conditional love crushed him. Staying a week, Chavi navigated tiptoe conversations, hiding our relationship. "I told them we're just roommates," he confessed upon return. Betrayal stung. "So I'm a secret again?" He apologized, but trust fractured. The incident sparked a downward spiral. Chavi withdrew, questioning everything. "Maybe I rushed this. What if I'm straight after all?" Desperation led to a reckless decision. He messaged an ex-girlfriend, Lisa, for closure. They met for coffee. I found out via a text slip. Confrontation ensued. "It was nothing," he claimed, "but doubt poisoned us." "Are you testing yourself?" I accused. Guilty silence confirmed it. Reconciliation attempts faltered. We took space, him crashing with a friend, me alone in the apartment. Loneliness amplified regrets. Had I pushed too hard? Was our love built on sand? Phone calls were tense. "I miss you," he'd say, "but I need time." Weeks dragged, each day a battle against heartbreak. Finally, a breakthrough. Chavi returned, eyes resolute. "I choose you." The coffee was a mistake, clarity, actually. "I don't want that life." We embraced, vowing honesty. But scars remained, a testament to the costs paid. Family ties mended slowly. Emily bridged gaps, advocating for acceptance. Work stabilized as Chavi switched firms to a more inclusive one. Yet societal shadows loomed. A news story about hate crimes shook us, reinforcing vigilance. "Is this worth the fight?" Chavi pondered. I affirmed, "Yes, for us." Our bond, forged in fire, grew stronger. But the journey taught harsh lessons on sacrifice and resilience. As months passed, the fragile peace we'd built began to crack under accumulating pressures. Chavi's new job at a progressive ad firm offered solace. Colleagues celebrated his authenticity, but the commute drained him, leaving little energy for us. "I'm exhausted," he'd complain, collapsing on the couch. I picked up slack. Cooking, chores, emotional support. Resentment simmered. Was I his partner or caretaker? Family reconciliation attempts yielded mixed results. A Thanksgiving invite from his parents came with caveats. "No discussing that." Chavi debated attending. "It's a step," he said. I encouraged, but inwardly feared regression. He went alone, returning subdued. "They acted normal, but avoided questions about you." The omission hurt, underscoring my outsider status. "One day," he promised, but one day felt like evasion. Social dynamics shifted too. Old friends faded. New ones from LGBTQ+ groups embraced us. At a support meeting, Chavi shared his story, inspiring others. "Your courage helps," a young man told him. Pride swelled in me, but envy crept in. His journey overshadowed mine. "Remember, I went through this first," I reminded gently. He acknowledged, "I couldn't have without you." Yet the spotlight on his awakening left me feeling secondary. Moral quandaries deepened. Chavi mentored that teen from the youth center, guiding him through coming out. "Be true to yourself," he advised. Hypocrisy, he'd hidden for years. The kid's success, family acceptance, highlighted what Chavi lacked. "Why not me?" he vented. Therapy unpacked it. Envy stems from unresolved grief. Sessions helped, but revelations unearthed more pain. A pivotal confrontation arose with Sarah. She reached out via email. "Need closure." Chavi agreed to meet, insisting I trust him. "It's platonic." They lunched. He returned rattled. She accused me of using her as a cover. Truth resonated, sparking guilt. "Did I?" he questioned. I consoled. "You were figuring yourself out." But the encounter reopened wounds, making him distant. Betrayal loomed again when work travel took him to Chicago. Late-night texts dwindled. Calls were brief. Paranoia gripped me. Was he reverting? Upon return, he confessed, "I flirted with a guy at a bar. Nothing happened, but I felt alive." Shock hit. "What about us?" he explained, testing boundaries. "I love you, but am I monogamous?" The admission shattered illusions. We argued fiercely. "This isn't exploration. It's cheating." Tears flowed. He begged forgiveness. I panicked about commitment. We paused the relationship, seeking space. Chavi moved to a sublet. I immersed in work, redesigning my portfolio. Friends rallied. Jake offered a couch wisdom. Love's messy, especially in our world. Loneliness amplified self-doubt. Had I idealized him? Therapy solo helped. Define your needs. I realized I'd sacrificed too much, losing hobbies, connections. Reconnection came via a surprise visit. Chavi stood at my door, flowers in hand. I messed up. Therapy showed me. Fear of loss drives sabotage. We talked for hours, laying bare vulnerabilities. I want us fully. Reconciliation was tentative, built on new rules. Open communication, couples retreats. But external forces tested us. A viral social media post from a former friend outed Chavi harshly. "Beware the fake straight guy." Comments poured in, supportive and vile. Chavi's firm stood by him, but trolls harassed online. "This is the price," he said wearily. We reported, blocked, but damage lingered. Privacy invaded, trust in others eroded. Deeper awakening followed. Chavi joined advocacy groups, speaking at events. Sharing my story helps heal. Empowerment transformed him, but exhaustion followed. Balancing activism and us? I worried. A rally turned tense when counter-protesters shouted slurs. Chavi stood firm, but later broke. "Is change worth the hate?" I affirmed, "Yes, for future generations." Personal growth clashed with relational strains. My career surged, a big contract, but Chavi's jealousy surfaced. "You're thriving while I'm struggling." Insecurity bred arguments. "Support me," he'd demand. I countered, "I do, but you undermine." A blowout led to ultimatums. Commit fully or end it. Crisis peaked during a family wedding. Chavi's cousin invited him, +1 implied. "Bring Ethan," she said supportively, but parents attended. Chavi wavered. "Too confrontational." I insisted. "Hiding disrespects us." He agreed reluctantly. At the event, tensions boiled. His dad ignored me. Mom forced politeness. A toast to traditional love felt pointed. Chavi snapped, "Love is love." The room hushed. Family divided. We left early, bonds strained further. Post-wedding, reflection hit. "I chose you over them," Chavi said. Gratitude mixed with sorrow for his losses. Our love deepened, but scars marked us. Society's grind continued. Job discrimination lawsuits in the news mirrored Chavi's fears. "We're fighters," I declared. Yet, doubts persisted. A quiet evening, Chavi mused. What if I'd stayed hidden? Happier? The question haunted, forcing evaluation of choices. Awakening brought freedom, but at steep costs. Alienated kin, fractured friendships, internal wars. Was the authenticity worth the wreckage? The wedding fallout lingered like a bad hangover, with Chavi's family splintering further. Emily mediated, hosting a Zoom call. "We love you, but need time," Mom said tearfully. Dad grunted agreement, but his eyes held judgment. Chavi ended the call deflated. Progress? Or lip service? I encouraged patience, but his frustration boiled over into our life. "Everything's a battle now," he'd snap over minor things, like forgotten groceries. Work for Chavi stabilized, but a promotion eluded him. "They say I'm distracted," he complained. Subtle bias? Likely. He channeled energy into activism, organizing a workplace diversity panel. Success boosted confidence, but time away strained us. "You're never here," I vented one night. He retorted, "This matters." Balance eluded. Resentment built. Internal conflicts resurfaced. Chavi dreamed of kids, a family, ideals clashing with reality. Adoption? Surrogacy? He'd ponder. But societal hurdles loomed. Legal battles, prejudices. Our kids would face bullying because of us. The thought tormented, highlighting moral trade-offs. Is bringing life into this fair? Therapy explored. Desires evolve. But it amplified his grief for the normal life abandoned. A shocking twist came via an anonymous email. "Chavi is cheating." Attached, photos from Chicago, him close with that bar guy. Confrontation exploded. "It was just talk," he swore. But lies unraveled. They'd kissed. Betrayal gutted me. "Why?" I demanded. Fear of forever with one person. The admission revealed deep-seated issues, commitment phobia rooted in repression. We separated again, this time painfully. Chavi crashed with Emily, who flew in. "Fix this," she urged. I retreated to Jake's, drowning sorrows in work. Reflection hit. I'd enabled patterns, forgiving too easily. "Set boundaries," Jake advised. Weeks apart clarified needs. Mutual respect, fidelity. Chavi reached out. Therapy's helping. I sabotaged us out of self-hate. We met neutrally in a park. Tears flowed. Apologies sincere. "I choose growth with you." Reconciliation was cautious, with rules. Individual therapy, no secrets. Trust rebuilt slowly, brick by brick. Societal pressures mounted. A bill restricting LGBTQ+ rights passed in Ohio, affecting his family. Dad called, "See? This lifestyle brings trouble." Chavi hung up and raged. "They're blind." Advocacy intensified. He testified at hearings, voice strong. Media attention followed, a local news feature. "Heroic," comments praised, but hate mail arrived. "Freak." Security concerns arose, we installed cameras. Personal damages accumulated. My health suffered, stress-induced migraines. "Slow down," doctor ordered. Chavi's anxiety spiked. Meds prescribed. "The price of authenticity," he joked darkly. Friends noticed. "You too look worn." Support groups helped, sharing stories of similar struggles. A moral crossroads emerged when Chavi's ex-mentee faced crisis. Parents disowned him. Chavi offered shelter temporarily. "We can help." But it strained resources, emotions. The kid's pain mirrored Chavi's, fostering empathy. "This is why we fight." After placement in foster care, gratitude flowed. "You saved me." The experience solidified purpose but exhausted us. Confrontations peaked with a surprise visit from Chavi's parents. "We want to understand," Mom said at our door. Tense dinner ensued. Dad grilled. "Why choose this?" Chavi explained patiently. "It's who I am." Tears shed. Hugs tentative. "We'll try," Dad conceded. Breakthrough? Time would tell. But the visit healed slivers, reducing isolation. Our bond, tempered by trials, grew resilient. Dates reignited spark. Picnics. Theater. "I love you," became daily affirmation. But shadows remained. What if regrets return? Vigilance guarded against backsliding. Awakening extended to community. Chavi started a podcast on queer experiences, interviewing others. Success brought fulfillment but scrutiny. Episode on late bloomers went viral, drawing both praise and backlash. Inspiring versus confused. He persevered, turning pain into power. Yet, the cumulative toll questioned sustainability. A quiet anniversary dinner. Chavi reflected. "We've lost so much. Family harmony. Naive joy. Gained truth. Love." I agreed. "Worth it." The debate lingered, encapsulating the story's core: choices, consequences. As stability returned, a final test arose. Chavi received a job offer in San Francisco, better pay, inclusive environment. But leaving New York? Us established here. Dilemma: uproot or stagnate? Discussions heated. Opportunity versus comfort. We compromised. I'd freelance remotely, move together. The decision symbolized commitment, embracing change. Packing boxes, memories flooded. That first kiss, fights, reconciliations. No regrets, Chavi said, kissing me. But in quiet moments, doubts whispered. Society's evolution lagged. Personal battles ongoing. The journey taught. Love demands sacrifice, but rewards depth. The move to San Francisco marked a fresh chapter, the city's fog mirroring our hazy hopes. Chavi thrived at the new firm, leading diversity initiatives. Finally valued, he beamed. I adapted, securing remote gigs, our apartment overlooking the bay a symbol of renewal. But old wounds festered. Distance from family amplified longing. Phone calls with his parents improved, weekly check-ins, surface level but consistent. How's work? They'd ask, avoiding personal probes. Chavi pushed gently. Ethan's great. Awkward pauses followed, but persistence paid. Emily visited, bridging gaps. They're coming around. A holiday card arrived, signed by all, small victory. Social integration eased in the progressive enclave. We joined hiking groups, made couple friends. No hiding. Pride flags waved freely. But contrasts highlighted past struggles. Back east, this would have been risky. Gratitude mixed with bitterness for years lost to fear. Moral reflections deepened. Chavi's podcast evolved, tackling ethics of coming out. Is forcing authenticity always right? Guests debated. Some regretted haste, others celebrated liberation. Listeners messaged, your story saved my marriage by ending it. Impact humbled, but burdened. Am I advising wisely? A crisis tested resolve. Chavi's dad fell ill again, cancer scare. Flying back, Chavi faced raw emotions. At the bedside, Dad confessed, I was wrong, scared of change. Tears flowed, forgiveness granted. Bring Ethan next time. The shift healed, but revealed fragility. Health crises as catalysts for acceptance. Back home, we celebrated dinner with wine, toasts to progress. But joy tempered by awareness. Not everyone's story ended thus. Privilege, Chavi noted, white, educated, urban. Broader injustices loomed. Trans rights eroded, global persecutions. Activism continued. We volunteered at shelters, advocating. Personal growth flourished. I pursued art classes, rediscovering passion. Chavi wrote a memoir outline, From Denial to Defiance. Sharing drafts, vulnerability bonded us. Your perspective completes it, he said. Collaboration strengthened, turning pain into art. Yet, betrayal's echoes lingered. Trust fully restored? Mostly, but vigilance remained. A work trip tempted Chavi, he called nightly transparent. Learned my lesson. Fidelity became cornerstone, hard won. Societal awakenings paralleled personal. Elections shifted policies favorably. Celebrations ensued. But backlashes followed, protests, violence. A local attack shook us. Could be us. Security measures increased. Paranoia crept. Is safety illusory? Chavi pondered. The story's arc culminated in a quiet proposal. On a hilltop overlook, ring in hand. Through hell, you've been my heaven. Marry me? Tears, yes. Planning ensued, intimate ceremony, inclusive vows. Family attended. Parents hesitant but present, a testament to change. Honeymoon in Hawaii brought reflection. Beach walks dissected journeys. That kiss? Catalyst for chaos, then clarity. Losses tallied. Friendships, innocence, peace, gains, Authenticity, love, purpose. Net positive, we agreed. But the narrative's essence lay in choice's ambiguities. Xavi's transformation inspired, yet questioned. Did societal pressures force unnecessary pain? Could denial have yielded happiness? As waves crashed, we pondered futures, kids via adoption, navigating biases. We'll protect them, Xavi vowed. Optimism prevailed, but realism tempered. In the end, our tale was one of resilience amid adversity, love's triumph over taboo. Yet, it begged the question. In a world rife with judgment, is coming out always the righteous path, or can hiding preserve more than it destroys?